For people around the world who aren't familiar maybe with dance music, give us an idea of his significance. Was he such a big name and such a big influence?
I think he was. I think arguably he's one of the most influential dance producers we've had ever.
I first met Avicii online on my forum. I had a forum on laidbackluke.com where I guided a lot of young and up-and-coming professionals you know by now. It was a good 3 years that I guided him and brought his production up to par. And I actually met him for the first time in Miami. This was in 2009, where he got to play my Super You and Me party. And he had the opening slot. I met him the night before. He was super nervous, but super excited to finally do his first DJ set ever.
I met Avicii in 2009, 10 years ago at the WMC in Miami. He was playing in a club and also playing my remixes. So then I came to him and then we started to speak.
I remember that I met Avicii for the first time on Leaf Festival, which is a Dutch festival that was being held, I think, in the summer of 2009 or 10. And I was with him in a little boat. It was one of those boats where you actually had to row. So both of us were rowing, including someone who steered. And I think that was the first moment. And I think back then, he wasn't even DJing that much. It was just one of his first shows in Holland. And that's the first time I can remember that I met him.
I met him in London Victoria Park in 2010 for the first time, where he played as a support act for Tiesto.
My first impression of him, seeing him, he was such a shy and introvert person. Typically someone that's just been stuck in the studio and that just loves making music. He was very shy, he was very humble. And I remember him being in Miami. He must have been 19 years old and he was ready to party and ready to play this set for me the next day.
When I met him, he was really young and also he was really shy, but honestly really friendly. He was a really cool guy, always smiling, and then that was really my first impression of him.
I think Tim was always really humble and really friendly, but he was a little bit shy. He was really into, deeper conversations, but, by the time that he would open up to actually have a deep conversation, it sometimes would take some time. I would describe him as a very intelligent person, a caring and loving person, someone that is not made for being on stage, actually with so many people. It's just sometimes you meet someone that makes a deep impression on you, and I think he was one of the few persons that actually made that impression on me. It was such a special human.
Leading up to Miami, we put a CD out, a Super You and Me mix CD, where I mixed CD number 1, and on CD number 2, it's Avicii's mix. And this fell together with his release, Ryu. I think this was the second Avicii release ever, and I made a Laidback Luke edit on that, and we put that out back in the day.
We produced a lot of songs together. The most famous one was My Flame For You, but for the very first time I came in Stockholm in his studio. We did 3 tracks in 2 days and it was a lot of fun. Even Big Colossus with Groove, and then we started to be friends, and then he came to my studio in France, and then we produced My Things For You. Tweet It with Norman Doray, Pastis, Snooze. It was a lot of fun.
Well, one time he came to the studio here in Holland and we worked on a couple of songs. It was actually a studio, White Villa and Ede. And we worked on a few songs, and one of those songs never really saw the daylight. I still have it on my computer. It was called Tension, I remember. But it was never quite finished enough or good enough to release it. And after that, I went to Stockholm to visit his studio, and I met his team. I met Ash, and we worked on a song, and that turned out to be I Could Be The One. And from that moment on, we started sending each other stuff, ideas, and whenever we could help each other, we would.
Before his everyday touring kicked in, we started working on a few musical ideas. We never got to finish anything though, but at one point he even sent me an early draft of Levels and asked if we could do a collaboration of it. And also, we toured the world together for about 3 years. Played with him in Las Vegas maybe 50 times, and it was great.
He is remembered at the current moment the right way. Like, everybody's still playing his songs. They have a lot of attention for his story. His parents done a great job in I think approaching it the right way. I don't think we should change anything. I think the entire industry, the fans, they all have been carrying the right message lately. I'm really happy the way that he's being remembered, and the only thing that we have to do is keep it this way.
Tim was a genius. When we start to produce together, I say, wow, this guy is over talented. And everybody's gonna remember him, his songs, his name, his music is gonna be played for years.
Tim will be remembered for the musical genius he was, and I think for the instantly recognizable melodies. You kind of hear straight away that it's Tim.
I think Avicii should be remembered as this amazing, talented musician. It's absolutely a success story, but it's absolutely a tragic one as well. And we do need to remember that we need to look out for each other, that we check in with each other. And regardless if someone's famous or a big DJ or whatever, there's tons of people out there that were suffering and having the demons like Tim had. And what I think the main lesson in here is we should seek for true happiness, true personal connection, and surround us with people that truly love us and truly take care of us, regardless of Tim's situation, because some people unfortunately can't be saved. But I think in this day and age, it's good to look out for one another. And this for me will always be linked to Avicii.